Hello, I'm Kristen Brzezowski, the executive editor of TV Drama, and I'm speaking with Alfre Woodard, star and executive producer of The Porter. Hi, Alfre.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am good and excited to talk about The Porter. The show looks fantastic. So I'd love to hear, how did The Porter come about and what appealed to you about the project initially?
Well, Arnold Pennock is one of our producers, and Arnold conceived of this. He envisioned this 8 years ago, now 9 that we're in 2022. And he worked all that time figuring out a way to bring The Porter to the screen. And what attracted me was that the porter, the profession of trained porter, is so instrumental in our history, especially in the African American community, because it is they are responsible for basically being the foundation of the Black middle class in contemporary America. And we've never had a full story about that. So this is an 8-part series, the first season on BET Plus. And when I went into their writer's room, they're all African Canadians. When I went into their writer's room and met them, our executive directors, R.T. Thorne and Charles Officer, Arnold, and our showrunners, Anne-Marie Murray and Marsha Green, they were some of the most gifted and visionary young people I've ever seen. Now, some of them are in their 40s, 30s, and 20s, but I say young because they're younger than I am. And one of the most sort of adept and innovative cinematographers that I've ever worked with, his name is Jordan Oram. So there were all these people, and I wanted to be a part of it. It's a story that hasn't been told, and especially one that I think is important because it is history, but history is also, Kristen, as you know, what happened last weekend. So all those people go like, history? Yeah, history is just a whole bunch of weekends combined. So you made history last weekend, either in the club or on the soccer field or somewhere. Hopefully you were knocking on doors, encouraging people to vote and to protect the right to vote and protect all of our rights, especially women's rights. But so you made history. So that's what this is. And I think even my kids who are in their 20s, you know, who usually have like several screens going at once, entertainment, you know, talking to friends, playing a game and watching a movie. When I showed them 2 episodes of The Porter, they turned everything on and just sat. There's music, it's the jazz era, 1921, Montreal to Chicago is the route that they do. And there is, you know, one of our leads is a union organizer. He's trying to get them organized. A. Philip Randolph plays a big part in in the story. And all the way down to Chicago, where in 1921, even in City Hall, crime is organized and disorganized. And there we see at the top, you know, of all the bosses is a woman, Miss Queenie. And so there's just so much happening there. Women are still under the thumbs of whether it's their husband, their lover, or their father. And so there is a brothel where I work, my character. And the one reason I wanted to do this role is that I wanted that brothel to pay attention to history and really think, okay, we're in a brothel, it's all women. We kick the butts of anybody that might act out. That sounds like sisterhood. It sounds like a safe place to be where you answer to no one. You have choice to say, oh, no, or whatever. And the people that come, because it is that kind of place, they're not deviants. They've come because whatever's happening in their life, they need acceptance, and they can't ask whatever acceptance they need from their environment at that moment. So they come there. So I wanted to build that kind of scene because I thought historically it could be accurate.
And did you know right away that you wanted to both star and executive produce? Why was it important to have your hands in behind the scenes?
Well, I'm not a star, I'm a co-star. My storyline is is pivotal, but it is not the main draw. I was an executive producer for 4 months before the whole notion. I wasn't supposed to be in it, but they asked me. I'm going to tell you about these young people: Amel Amin, Ronnie Rowe Jr., Muna Traore, Lauren Lott, and I shouldn't stop. Well, I have to shout out to my friend Luke Rodriguez, but everybody in this. We shot in Winnipeg, and all of our supporting cast comes up from Winnipeg. They delivered. It is just, it is one of the best things I've seen on television in my couple of handful of things ever. And so I wanted to cheerlead and be of assistance in any way I could to that group of people. And they asked for more, so I came on more. But it is it is just a quality piece. It's like a fine art painting come to life, but you're starring in it. You can identify with it so readily.
Tell us about the positive reception that it's had in both the US and Canada.
Well, I don't know about the US yet because we're just starting to show here on BET Plus, and I don't really pay attention to, I shouldn't say this, but I don't really do, people have to put a review in front of me. I just assume when I know it's good, it's like, it's good, the whole point is just watch it. Everybody watch it, and then you decide how you respond to it. But Canada, it was they just completely devoured it all over Canada. It's a part of their history that they didn't know. Even older people didn't understand all the things that were happening. So, some people hide from their history, or it frightens them, or it thinks somehow their history has a bearing on how they're doing in their office today. The Canadians were not afraid of it, and they embrace it. They talk about it. So I expect as it goes on these weeks, I think the buzz will be there, and so people just have to get to BET Plus because they're going to want to be a part of the conversation.
And what gives this story and series the global appeal for it to play in any market around the world?
Anytime you tell a story, drama or a story is a recreation of a human action. Our job as the artists is to find the human being, is to make it, instead of flat on a page or characters, bring it to fullness so that they're human beings. So any human being, if you tell a story specifically and tell it well, any human that sees it is going to relate to it. And again, we all have absolute different histories, human beings, person to person. So what you get to it is who you are coming to see it. So I'm just excited that this North American story and this upper state story gets to go out into the world, around the world, because it gives people an even clearer focus of who we are and why we are.
This has been fantastic. Thank you so much, Alfre, for your time. And I'm excited for the world to see The Porter too.
Thank you, darling, for having me. I appreciate it.